For future reference, we are taking off a little zip tie right here on the brake light sensor, and then also right here above the brake light connection. So be sure to replace those. For reference, these are the bolts that hold the floorboard, the base plate, this thing, hold it to the frame. These bolts right here. Fucking knife for reference. Alright, this is another future reference video. These parts right here, that long bar looking thing, this thing, that right there, that is the rear threads for the exhaust pipe bracket. This is the exhaust ring, so like the gasket that goes inside the exhaust. And these are the bolts that actually go to that bracket, hold the exhaust pipe on. The exhaust pipe is right there. So this is probably going to be the most important part that we need to take notes on. This long ass piece of shit right here with the bracket on it that actually holds some wiring up under here goes in the bottom left cover of the crankcase. So don't forget it, along with bracket, bottom left. Goes right there. Long one. Screwdriver for comparison. Goes fucking right there with the bracket on it. Goes right here in this hole. And again, the bracket is just to hold these little cables on the bottom. These little cables. Looks like there's part of a. Oh, that's a cable. Looks like they're brake lines. No. It is starter electricity, and it's probably, you know what, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to assume to guess, so. But anyway, little guy with bracket, this hole right here. And then you can use this little thing for a reference. You come into this, looks like it's a brake line holder and splitter. Yep. You go with a little bolt with the bracket. Alright, so this hole right here actually had some oil on the end of the bolt, which is a little concerning. Hopefully I don't get oil everywhere, which might end up happening anyway because it was actually low on oil when I opened it up. But it's this bolt right here. See it? This one. So this is a little bit shorter than the longest one, and there is some oil on it. They might all end up having oil on it. Hopefully, well, I don't know, who knows. But anyway. Medium length bolts. This one right here. That one goes here at the end of this little joint for reference. Right there. And then again, for comparison, getting the head, then this one right down here. You can't even see it. Alright, this one. The head's a little bit smaller than this one right here, and it does just exactly what you think it would. Goes up the corner. So I'm going to try to map all of the bolts out in order as they came, so that this will eventually make the shape of the cover. So this one's the next step up. This one. It looks the same length, but it looks like it's a little bit smaller in diameter, and it has a smaller head. This guy. This came next step up. This one was right underneath the cylinder. So that's probably exactly what it is. It's probably just heat and corrosion resistance Loctite, which is important because I don't have any of that. We need to fix them up. I need to fix them up. I don't know who the second person is. It's me talking. Alright. So I used the fucking bolt. Same kind of deal. This one has Loctite on it, or some sort of heat resistant coating. This is the second one right underneath the cylinder. And this is going right here. It does look like it is a tiny bit smaller than, well, maybe they're the same size. It's the same size as the other one. But regardless, this bolt that goes underneath this little bracket, this bracket, if you can see it in there, that bracket right there that's connected to the air filter, vaguely through that little nut right there, is this one. This is going right there. Yeah. So this one, right here. All right, so here's not a good sign. This dirty bolt, which has some sort of water or mud, I don't know, I should probably feel it. This is sitting right here on the top. So this definitely had some sort of dirt in there, I think. Hopefully it's just stuff that got caught, some moisture that got caught right up here. Didn't make it all the way in, but again, this stuff is pretty loose. So we'll see what it takes. Hopefully this doesn't have anything on the inside. Hopefully that's oil. But this long one right here on the top, the second one connected to this bracket. So this is going right there. So this one was actually pretty good. Again, this one has some sort of sealant on it. That yellow little strip, if you can see it, that's some sort of sealer so that nothing can penetrate past that point. It's a pretty vital thing. Also, it could just be Loctite, just to make sure that it doesn't move at all, which is kind of nice. This one was definitely harder to get out, so I don't think anything penetrated into this part right back here, because this one was so tight. So this yellow strip guy, this one is pretty long, putting it right there. This one came from that hole. So what the bracket does is it holds up this little tube back there. You can see it, hopefully. There's a tube, yeah, you can see a tube. I put the bolt just in the bracket by itself, so the washer, the bracket, and the bolt should be together. This bracket, take a good look, good gander. This goes right there, boom. And it's meant to hold up this thing while probably keep this in check. I don't know, keep everything square. And then obviously, just these two normal ones, they're clean with nothing on them. They're pretty long. This one is shorter than this one, but those are both the sides. And as you can see, I have my bolt map. This is that. All right, so now the moment of truth. So take this plate off. I'm gonna have to put my phone down because I don't want to scratch up my chrome. Okay, so the cover just popped right off. It was pretty easy to come off. It does look like, just immediately upon inspection, this gasket, this old gasket that I'm gonna have to scrape off, is super brittle. Definitely old. It's been around for a minute. It's caked on there pretty much all the way around. It usually happens from high heat. It's not the best sign, but it's not necessarily terrible either. And that's also why you get new gaskets, right? Just to replace the disgusting ones. Looks like I'll have to spend some time scraping this off. Paired with today is actually this oil filter. Again, I'm just looking at this oil filter. I'm looking at this oil filter to see if there's any metal shavings in it. Just kind of, you know, look at it and see how dirty it is. It doesn't look like it's that dirty. I mean, obviously you can still see the color of it, so looks like it's in decent shape. It just fits in there like so. Taking things apart even more, you want to look for this. So this goes with those squares facing out. Those squares went directly under those notches. So when putting it back together, put it on just like that. Also, this bearing will pop out. Looks like it's still in pretty good shape too, so. Well, we'll just go ahead and leave that in. It doesn't have to come out. These clutch plates definitely do. Let's take a look at these. They're pretty worn. I watched somebody do this before me, and what they did was they got all the way to the last little pressure plate, and they basically said, well, I can't get this last pressure plate off, and I don't know why. Well, if you look down in that hole right there, you can see that there's a clip, and if you look right back there, there's a ring, and what that does, that ring is threaded perfectly in here, and I had the hardest time trying to figure out what this was. And it's a ring. It's like a little lock ring, or it's like a little lock to lock that pressure plate back there in place. Now the dude doing it before figured, well, fuck it, I don't know how to get this off, I'm just gonna leave it. But not me. I'm gonna take that fucking ring off, and we are going to replace it because I have a new one. And that's what you do.